We have a lot to unpack here on Diamond in the Rough today. Welcome, my name is Karen Walker, I'm your host, and I just want to reference this show as being a joyful noise. Unrhythmic slave. The unrhythmic slave, everyone sees, yet only the bloodsuckers engage. Drowning your queendom with mass destruction, supporting your menace to society, reframing you from the spiritual rhythms. Unrhythmic slaves, a society that once stolen you from the motherland, a society that forced you on a ship, stripped you from your future of leadership, brainwashed your hopes and dreams, dousing your family tree with repeated less than, hopelessness, darkness, even when light appears. The unrhythmic slave, centuries past, but not hatred, not the attacks on the changers. The poison still spreads 20th and 21st centuries. Slave ships delivering crystals, crack to control the masses, the educated, the intellectual, political reps, the unassuming, the insecure, the curious, the rejected. The unrhythmic slave, she continues to wander the streets day or night. The unrhythmic slave, beaten by her past, present, and possible future, disrespected by neighbors, black sheep of the family, hunted by bloodsuckers, can't hear the drum, can't feel rich legacy, focused on self-destruction, focused on the next hit, till the invisible noose snaps her neck. Welcome back. I have a very special guest with me today. I am so very excited about this program today. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Karen L. Smith.
Thank you very much for having me. Give my own drumming intro.
Yes, and you deservingly so. Deservingly so. I really appreciate you being here with me today. How you been?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good.
Great.
A little tired.
Yeah.
You know, long night. But I'm surviving.
All right.
So you are a percussionist, a playwright, director, producer, and poet.
And curator, too.
And
well.
curator. Yeah. Okay, so we have a lot to,
a lot
unpack.
A lot of hats. I only wore one, but
yeah, where do you find the time? You know, where do you find the time?
I don't always know. It's called, as soon as the new day comes, it's just creativity 365, you know.
It makes a difference when you do what you love, right?
I love what I do,
Yeah. How many years?
I think full-time with no 9 to 5 to fall back on, it's about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get on into the interview. Miss Native of Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, Bed-Stuy, all the way.
Why Philly?
You know what? Philly was so close, and I think Philly is such a tryout city for a lot of stuff. Back in my early days in New York, everything would come through Philadelphia before it came to Broadway. You know, before it was somewhat I guess, established. He tried it out here in Philly, and Philly had that music thing going on, and you know, just that whole extra creative vibe in a smaller way that I felt like I wanted to find out more about it.
Okay.
And it was so close to New York, you know,
Right.
less than 2 hours away.
Okay.
And I said I'll be here for a year, and then, you know, 99 years later, I'm still here.
And Philly just gripped
It
you
just
up.
gripped me up.
Good for
It
you.
just gripped me up.
Good
so,
for
yes.
you. Let's talk about music.
Okay, let's talk about music.
We'll talk more about your instruments in a little while.
Okay.
They're very soothing, especially the steel drum, which is
Steel
my,
tongue drum, yeah.
yes, the steel
that's my
tongue
favorite,
drum.
Yeah,
Very soothing.
yeah. Thank you.
So I appreciate you playing that music and being able to read your poetry.
Thank you very much.
Let's delve into that particular piece.
Okay.
Before we move forward.
The piece that you read.
Talk to me, yes.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the curation process of that particular piece.
I was ordering some food back in May of last year, around Memorial Day.
Okay.
And I was waiting. It was out in West Philly area. I was waiting for my food in my car, and this young lady just came by, and she was just so lost in her world and in her, you know, lack of knowledge of her legacy. She was caught up in her addiction. She didn't care the way she looked, her clothes, it was just whatever, her hair, you know. And she kind of stopped in front of me and used the sidewalk as her bathroom. And I'm like, you know, that would not go away, you
Right.
know, that whole feeling of like, wow, you know. And I couldn't sleep that night, and when I finally woke up that morning, that, you know, just woke me up, and I needed to write about, you know, that experience, and that's where Rhythmic Slave came from.
Okay.
You know, just being so lost, of not knowing where you came from.
Right.
You know, what rich legacy that we really have, you know, as a people.
Right.
So that's where that came from.
You know, that story is always very stories similar to that are always very jarring for me, because the assumption is that people lose sight of themselves
Yes.
intentionally, and that's not always the case.
Right.
And no one's exempt, right?
Yes.
When you decided to write that piece, what is the time? I'm always very conscious of time. I've
Okay.
always been very conscious of time. I always wonder with artists, how long does it take to curate a piece like that? Or is it just in the moment, you just write it and that's it?
I think you get to like draft it as first,
Okay.
you know, because that's what came out that morning, the draft, and then it you know, the development comes as you. I immediately share with other people, and want to hear what they have to say.
Right.
As I finish like sculpturing it, you know, but it didn't take that long, because her vision was so clear, you know, for me anyway, what I saw,
Okay.
and I needed to talk more about it. So to shape it up within a week, you know, it was starting to go out when I performed. You know, I wanted
Right.
to share this piece. I want to hear what people thought. You know,
Right.
and eventually it became part of this this other vision of called Philly Jones.
Right.
It's a tribute to Nina Simone,
Okay.
created by Deborah Powell Wright,
Right.
and also Pat McLean Smith, who are also responsible for these wonderful dolls here
Mini
too.
yous.
Mini me's. These mini me's, but
Right.
there's many other minis that's not me
Right.
too. And so it's in this anthology. I'm fortunate to be among, you know, 2020, which is 40 poets and storytellers, etc., writers that are part of this book that you can get on Amazon. You can
On
also get at Harriet Bookstore.
Right.
And Janine Cook is also
In
in it, too.
Germantown, right?
Harriet Bookstore is actually in Fishtown, not far from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yes, so that's where, and it lives in this book.
Okay. Very nice. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing.
Thank you.
In terms of music, African music embodies a very unique sound, right? As a seasoned percussionist, would you provide a historical view and talk about the characteristics of the djembe? and the steel tongue drum?
Well, I'll say I love that you said seasoned drummer.
Yes.
Because I feel like I'm a seasoned drummer.
Yes.
You know, I've been playing for quite a while. One thing I did never had the opportunity, which is fine because that happens,
Okay.
is I've never really been taught how to play what I'm doing.
Okay.
You know? So I play by heart. People say by ear, but I play by heart. I feel the rhythms. It's very spiritual. You know, the ancestors come and support me in my rhythms. So
Okay.
I feel like my knowledge of the drum and the steel tongue drum comes just from my personal journey with them. The drum, no matter what style it is the original communicator. It is the one that's going to bring the people into the village. They're going to, you know, something's going on. It's going to say, somebody's getting married, somebody died, a new birth is here. You know, the drum is that signal that something is going on. It's going to get people's attention. You know, there's something happening. So my history, but what I know of the drum is of that ancient part of it.
Right.
You know, it is the original communicator. It's the original cell phone.
Okay.
You know, it's the original tower that goes out into our space, our earth, and bring the people together.
Right, and how everyone interprets
Yes.
this is very different.
Yes, and
You
the
know.
steel tongue drum, though this is a West African drum, comes from Ghana.
Okay.
The steel tongue drum is that other drum that's more contemporary now, where it supports so much of what we need, especially with this whole, I call it spiritual atmospheric cleansing that we're going through. You know, it kind of like gets into your soul. It touches, you know, what needs to be moved.
Right.
Any sorrow, any loss, any grieving that you're going through, it kind of like finds a place for it to leave your body.
I have to agree, because as I was reading your beautiful poem, I had an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Each time that I read it.
Yeah.
And I read it differently every time,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's supposed to be, you know, that movement, that rhythm, that sound.
Right.
You know, let it take you where you need to go. What's happening for you at that moment.
Right.
I'm personally dealing with a lot of grief right now,
Okay.
so you know that sound is helping me to remove it from my body because it's laying so heavily in my body and my
Right.
heart that you
Right.
know now it's out, you know, more into the universe. Now it's you know moving away from me. The
Right.
vibes are helping
The
it move away
cleansing
from
process,
me. Yeah,
as
it's
you said
cleansing.
earlier.
Extremely cleansing.
Right.
You know.
Very
I
good.
sometimes forget how much my rhythms are capable of doing that, you know, because it's very spiritual for me to play.
Right.
You know.
Wow. This type of composition is a sound that has been ever present and continues to galvanize our culture and exist in all genres of music, right?
Yes.
With that in mind, you play a variety of instruments. What are some of the other instruments that you enjoy playing?
I enjoy playing this chime because that gets your attention right away.
It certainly does.
It does, you know.
Okay.
Especially with kids, you know, you want to quiet them down. You don't need to make a whole lot of sounds. You just, you know, it's like, what's that?
So have you
Innocence.
composed an entire song with just that instrument?
I've composed entire songs with bells, chimes, and the steel tongue drum.
Okay.
And I also infused strings, just recently, strings and flute. I love those sounds against the drum. So I've been doing a lot of other percussive things. And also, I'm so into the spiritual atmospheric cleansing that since we've been in this so-called, what people call pandemic,
Right.
COVID times, etc.
Right.
I really call it, you know, because it's touching every life. Every life is, it doesn't matter, anything that's moving, anything that breathes, the plants, whatever,
Right.
you know, that's alive, it's you know, it's affecting. So this is a whole spiritual atmospheric cleansing. And that means that, you know, things have to shift
Right.
in order for change to really come through. Like the
But
real
you have
change.
to be receptive
The
to
real
it, right?
change is coming through, yes.
Okay.
You know, people are tired of a lot of things that's been going on. We've lived with so many myths. You know, there's a lot of destruction going on, self-destruction, you know, mass destruction. You know, so many things that we accept. We accept that, you know, the imprisonment and the connection to the public school system, to the prison system. So all that has to be changed. This whole, the way we govern, all of it has to be changed. So why not this being it?
Right.
It's almost like when the dinosaurs came, per se, whatever that ice age is. I wasn't there, so I don't really know. But I'm just saying
Right.
something major had to change. The shifts in the climates, etc. Nothing is
Right.
permanent.
Right.
Nothing is permanent. So, to get some major changes to happen, to really, if you want to stamp out racism, you got to clear, they got to clear the clutter for real. The way people think, we got to come together. There's no one, this one, that. We are one.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I often refer to music as the welcomed silencer.
Yeah, it is. Art heals. Music is all that part of that art. It heals. It can move. It can make movements happen. I don't know of any movement where music hasn't been involved in some shape or form.
Right.
No movement.
Some genres are much louder than
Yes,
others.
exactly.
But they all serve a particular purpose.
And a drum has to be there.
Right.
Whether it's the African drum or not, the drum has to be somewhere in the center of attention.
Right. Very well. You mentioned this earlier, but I want to talk and delve a little bit more into whether or not you're a self-taught musician.
Yes.
Because although I've considered learning how to play an instrument, be it the piano or a guitar, preferably, I'm certain that having the confidence requires one to be in tune with aesthetic persona, their aesthetic persona. Like,
I love your big words.
I write pretty well, fairly well. Thank you.
I really think that everybody has rhythm. I feel like when I teach, it's about finding the rhythm within yourself and transferring to that instrument. Whether it be the drum, whether it be a clarinet or a piano. I feel like everyone has some form of rhythm, and it can be. I don't want you to play like me.
Right.
I want you to play like you.
Right.
So if I put this drum in front of you, you would play like you. However that sound. Yeah. Exactly. That's what comes out first. And then I would say, I would want you to do something just slightly different to bring the sound up. But otherwise, that's how it starts.
Right.
It's like, that's your rhythm. That's what comes out for you.
Okay. I watched a video of, I think you were performing at the Philadelphia Library in the theater in the basement with a young boy. He was going to town. He had so much fun. And what I loved most about it is that when you start playing an instrument, you immediately go into this zone.
Right.
Like, you tune out everything else. And it's just you and the instrument, creating this relationship with each other.
That alignment coming in, yes.
Very nice.
That was a fun gig too.
Yeah.
Yes. We did that at the free library, the main library. And I brought some of my students. He was one of my students at the time.
Oh, was that right?
Yes.
How old was he back then?
Oh, I had to be like 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
Flynn was his name.
He was going to town.
Yeah, he was getting it in.
Speaking about the Free Library of Philadelphia, I often explore the city of Philadelphia and the neighboring counties. One day I was led to go to the Philadelphia Library and I discovered a joyful noise. Who could it have been? I just happened to be returning overdue books, and here you're having a workshop at the Free Library of Philadelphia.
Right.
I joined in.
Yeah.
You had an array of instruments on the tables. I think there were maybe 2 or 3 tables. I have pictures of myself, maybe one that I could potentially find. But that was wonderful. I really enjoyed myself.
I love doing that. I can't wait till those days can come back.
When did you?
They can bring stuff like that back.
Right. Yeah. Being able to have an open forum experience.
Yes, that was wonderful.
I do miss it. I think there were about 20 people, at least 20 people in the workshop.
It would drag. It would be that rhythms. Once we start playing, would bring more and more people.
Right.
In. People can come in and out within that hour and a half. It was great. I loved it.
You know how to draw a crowd. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you that.
It's the drums. It's not even me. It's
right.
just people hear it. And it vibrates through those corridors. It's just like, wow, what's that? What's going on?
I had
people come in for a minute, or the staff would come in on their lunch breaks, peek in. The security might sneak in there. Just want to be a part of it.
Listen, I had so much fun. I forgot about my $10 over. Listen, the fee that I had to pay, that's a lot of money. $10.
Yes,
I totally forgot about it, though. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Because you had some very zealous participants.
Yeah. You had a good time. Thank you,
Yeah,
Perry. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, it was really
main
good.
library, yeah.
Let me see. Let's talk about you studying these instruments and your collaborations that you've had both in and out on the outskirts of the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. First and foremost, let me say this. I studied as a docent at the African American Museum for maybe 4 months, and then I chickened out. But you've performed there. Mm-hmm. Tell me about some of your performances at the museum.
At the African American Museum in Philadelphia, I became, I started off as performing during their Kwanzaa.
Okay.
And then later becoming I would say a teaching artist in residence there. And so, we do workshop with a number of schools that would come in, mm-hmm. In their auditorium area. Mm-hmm. And that was great. And, you teach them about, giving them some ideas what rhythms are about and what the history of the instruments, the different instruments I would bring in.
Right.
It was wonderful. I hope that, like I said, I hope some of this stuff comes back mm-hmm. again, too. We still do Kwanzaa, and the Kwanzaa's coming up, and we'll be doing that again, too. But I think the most fun I had with the African American Museum is that they allowed me to explore mm-hmm. as an artist. And I also did one of my plays there, too, called 57. That was a family dealing with their holidays and some of the family secrets that comes out at the holidays when you bring the family together. So they allowed me to do other things as well,
right.
And I appreciate that. But most that I've done is their Kwanzaa, as well as done workshops throughout mm-hmm. the year mm-hmm. until we've been in this shift. And then it's, they're finding ways of me doing it again, bringing us back slowly but surely.
Define Kwanzaa. Talk a little bit about Kwanzaa for those who
Kwanzaa
don't
is
know
the 7
Kwanzaa.
principles.
And those are?
Let me try to see if I can remember.
I know, sometimes it's a little difficult for me too.
It's unity, which is Imojo, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Kujichagulia, self-determination. To give me the order. Do I know the order? That would be it. Ujima, Ania, Imani, Kuumba, mm-hmm. Creativity. Mm-hmm. There's 7 principles altogether.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know the order right this moment.
That's all right.
But that's about, it really is, it's not a holiday. Right. It's something to celebrate on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. It's family time. It's mm-hmm. creativity time, whatever that means. Mm-hmm. It's not like you have to go out and buy stuff.
Right.
People do have a little setup, yes. But it really is about,
communing.
It's really about coming together, mm-hmm. coming for a meal, mm-hmm. conversation, mm-hmm. tell our stories,
right.
Read some books, and make sure, Black authors, get their props during that time even more so.
Right.
But it's really coming together. There's music, there's dance, it's just a celebration of mm-hmm. the first harvest,
right.
which is what Kwanzaa about, is to celebrating the first harvest mm-hmm. and sharing a meal. What happens at that? We're good at knowing what happens. It's a barbecue. It's a backyard thing happening.
It goes
You know,
down.
it's a block party, whatever. You know, however we come
Yes.
together, family reunions, you know,
Right.
weddings, etc., funerals, repasts, you know. So we know how to do that, you know,
Absolutely.
and so
And have a good time.
yeah, and have a good time. So that's
Right.
what Kwanzaa really is really celebrating our legacy,
Right.
you know, in particular. But
Right.
it's for everybody.
Right.
You know, it's not, you know, like Hanukkah, it's for everybody. Whoever accepts that they're Jewish, you know,
Right.
doesn't mean that you're white or Caucasian.
Right.
It just means that, you know, this is your practice.
Right.
You know, so.
Very good. You also have affiliations with, or you used to work at the William Way Center.
I did some work at the William Way.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
I did a couple of times. Yeah,
Okay.
I did a few things at the William Way.
So talk about your experience at the William Way Center. And the reason why I am inquiring about this is because during my externship through Temple University's hospitality program, I actually worked with two fabulous men who are members of the William Way
William
Center.
Way Center. Okay.
Yeah, and they manage the International Wizard of Oz Festival,
Okay.
of which they, as soon after interviewing me as a volunteer, hired me on to help manage the festival.
Okay.
So, you know, it was a great experience. Tell me about yours.
My experience started with the William Way. Besides attending the William Way before, was in 2014. I was hired to help them with the first LGBTQ jazz festival,
Okay.
and so from that point, I've have come in and out of the William Way even more so with. We did a smaller version of what that was, and that was like every other month thing where we brought different artists to come and perform for the community, and share their work, etc. So I've done a lot of volunteer work. I've
Right.
done fundraising with William Way. You know, I'm really good friends with the executive director, Chris Bartlett.
Okay.
You know, so whatever they, you know, feel that they need from me, I'm kind of on call at times.
You know what I tell my daughter? She's 25.
Right.
She's an adult. But I've always said to her, go out there and show what love looks like every day. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Every day, 365.
I love that. I love that.
It's easy to show the other one, so I'd rather show love.
Absolutely.
You know, and art is love. You know, it brings a lot of people together. You know, with all our differences, we all can come together at the same
Right.
table. You know, and share.
You've also collaborated with the Philadelphia Jazz Project,
Yes.
right? With Homer and very good.
Yeah. And what I learned from the Philadelphia Jazz Project is the importance of collaborations.
Right.
That's what keeps me working. It's important to make those relationship network,
Right.
and that's how you continue to work through those moments of when it goes
Right.
up and down like that.
Uncertainty.
Yes. Because just to be a straight musician, there's nothing wrong with that per se. But there's those moments where, you know, you need to do other things. And so I've learned a lot about administrative stuff
Okay.
from working with Philadelphia Jazz Project.
Okay.
Thank you, Homer Jackson.
I'm hoping that Homer will come and join me someday soon. I sure hope.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick that phone up and call you, Homer. Residency programs with Debbie Allen.
Oh, Debbie Ellen, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, well, she had a residency with the Man.
Okay.
The Man Music Center.
Right. In
dance.
West Philly. Okay.
And there was two schools, Kappa and String Theory, that was selected for her to come and do 2 days of her residency with dance. And so the wonderful Rhoda Blanc, she was at the in charge of that at that time, and she called me and asked me if I would be interested in playing for her class, and I'm like, who? She said Debbie Allen. I'm like, really? Of course, you know. So I was the lead drummer for her 4 classes
That's
that she
awesome.
taught, and I brought some other drummers with me. And
Right.
whatnot. We had a great time.
I bet you
We
did.
really did. I mean, I learned a lot from her class.
Right.
I played for dance classes before, but not like that.
Wow.
And she has so much energy, and she really does. She brought her daughter with her. She,
Right.
she really did a lot of the movement. Showing the movement. I mean, she used her daughter too, but she was really still getting it in. She had that fame kind of energy that she
I
showed in
love
that
it.
character.
Right.
that was
How
like
about
that was
that?
really her.
Wow.
And she played Lydia in Fame.
Right.
So, but she
I
was
love
very
that movie.
nice. It was work, but she took time to talk to us a little bit and take
And that's
pictures.
so important.
Yeah.
No matter where you are in your career, it's important to reflect back and give back and share a personal experience. You always want to communicate thoroughly with the people that you share time and space with.
Yeah.
You know?
My excitement that's definitely a highlight in my career. But I feel like I love working with the kids.
And it shows.
Because they need it. Yeah, they need it, and that's where I get my most joy from.
Right.
Is playing with them. So with children.
Now, do you have workshops specifically for children throughout the year when the world was open? Right.
You know what? I have still done, one thing for sure that was virtual as well as there's been little things, especially over when the weather got warmer, things like that. But I haven't really stopped working throughout this whole time,
Right.
In some shape or
That's
form.
good.
I might not be in the schools per se, but
Right.
I've done after school programs.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I'm
glad
getting
to
ready to
hear
do
that.
another after school program in Lubbocktown next month.
Okay.
So yeah.
Have drums will travel.
You got that right.
Okay.
And this one is theater, so my other hat comes on.
Right. How about
it?
Okay. So what are
yeah.
you doing in terms of theater now?
I'll be doing, with that's a workshop I'll be doing, developing some things. But as far as my theater hat, I have a play that I'm still very excited about. That Thank You Leeway gave me the opportunity foundation to put this project together. Started in 2019, and we're still going forward with Alan Clark's theater production company called Run Boy Run, and we've done started with a reading of it. And then we've, this past September, I'm going to say, we were part of the Fringe with some of the music, because it's a musical.
Right.
Awoke, the musical. I think this one has the little
Well,
logo
now.
on there. Are you awoke? Because they say that a lot in the play.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's
Come
about
up here.
how this justice
We're gonna
system is
keep you on the
completely
You gonna help me? You gonna help me read my cue cards?
Well, how this justice system, has been working against us, and it's about the money, and it's, and Black lives do not matter in this situation because, it starts with the pipeline from the public school system to the prison system, and our public school system, especially more so. So I wrote this play based on, it's a lot of antics, it's a lot of sarcasm, it's a lot of farce, it's through these very powerful stories that folks are telling, that exist in a courtroom, yet it's a circus because that's how it's looked at. And so I partnered with the circus school, and so all the circus antics are going on at the same time too. So yeah.
Okay. Very good.
So 2022, that's Awoke the musical will be out.
Awoke the musical.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I told you I was gonna stalk you. A little bit,
That's fine.
so
I love
keep
artistic
myself-
stalking, so that's fine. That's great. Let's keep stalking.
It truly is a pleasure to be with
Thank
you
you. Thank
here
you.
today. The Boys and Girls Club of Chester, and then the Folk Song Society.
The Folk Song Society?
Yeah.
The the Folk Song Society.
No?
I received, what did I do with the Folk Song Society?
See, you're doing so much you don't even remember. Wow. How I want to be like you when I grow up.
I have done some work for
Boys and girls. Pay
The
attention.
Philadelphia Folk Song Society. Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Very
I did do
good.
a little bit. I like variety, so you know, I don't like just playing just jazz or just R&B or you know whatever.
It's
I like
always good to be
variety.
versatile,
Yeah,
you know?
So I like working with everybody.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very good. You also lent your support to political officials,
Yeah.
such as you already know, Janie Blackwell,
Yeah.
Cindy Bass,
Yes.
Linda Fields, and Blondell Reynolds Brown.
Yes.
Going back to Have Drums Will
And
Travel.
Catherine
My
Gilmore
goodness.
Richardson. Yeah, there's quite a few. Isaiah Thomas, you know.
Wow.
I've done. Yeah.
Okay, and they've all been pleasant experiences.
It's
for
all
you.
so far knock on drums,
Drums,
but
whatever you can reach for.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a blessing.
the mayor have done stuff, you know. Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay.
So
And so I don't know.
I'm waiting for the Obamas to call me. That's all.
I'm sure they. I'm
And then
sure
it's
they
it.
will.
It's like it's really.
No need to worry.
I'm out of here.
I'm sure they will. And let me say this: if I have a connect,
Yes.
Please know.
As soon as they call.
There you go.
I've already worked with Stedman, so I'll take.
is that right?
Yes.
Very good.
Oprah's boo. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, what did you do with him? What?
He was honored because they had a plaque. You know, sometime the time part I'm not always sure about,
Okay.
but I'm going to say it was last year in the year before last, excuse me, where they had this plaque. It was in Camden because he's from Jersey. He's originally from Jersey, some part of a little small town in Jersey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. You
Wow.
know. And so I was invited to drum and be a part of this service, and he, you know, was a guest of honor. So I got to, you know, play, you know, while he spoke and things like that. And so, yeah, I got to play for that event.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cross-cultural communications are important
Yeah.
and vital to our development, developing our society, and the types of exchanges, as we talked about earlier, to provide an in-depth view of our diverse communities. Again, what is your response to that in terms of how we communicate with each other as a culture? One culture, multiple cultures?
I think that we could definitely we could communicate better, for sure. But I think that I feel that we're working through. I think by changing some of the leadership, that's what helped us communicate better.
That's
you know,
an
once you
awesome
start
segue.
seeing, I guess, people that look like you, per se, that helps. That breaks some barriers.
Right.
I think more and more there are men groups, things like that are going into the communities. There's anti-gun violent groups that's going into the community and talking to people. And I think that's what I see more of that happening.
Okay.
So the communication, I think, though it's, you know, sometimes you might feel it's moving like a turtle is moving. You know, there are people bringing us artists in and, you know, making a difference. I did an anti-violence gun program over the summer where we went out to different neighborhoods that have experienced, you know, known for more gun violence, I would say.
Right.
And we did things with the kids, you know,
Right.
poetry, storytelling, drumming, and
Okay.
things like that outside on their blocks. So yes, there are more things happening for us to come together and talk and sit down and rap or do some art, etc.
Okay.
You know, I congratulate the Barnes for being a part of going into having an outreach program and going to neighborhoods where we do things just like
Yeah,
that
they've
as well.
curated a lot of different
Yes.
programs.
Not just at the Barnes,
Right.
but really out in the community.
Right.
So, you know,
Exactly.
I've been part of their programming too, their outreach program.
Very good. I'm just going to name additional notable artists that you've been affiliated with and have performed with around the city of Philadelphia at the Dell, the Mann Center, as well as the Kimmel Center. Al Jarreau, David Sanborn, and please correct me, and Lady Smith Black Mambazo.
Oh yeah, they
Right?
were at they were at the man that was all at the Dell was David Sanborn and
Wow.
Al Jarreau part, and my group was part of Thank You Philadelphia Jazz Project. We were part of the pre-opening of as the audience were coming in. We were on that Sisters Laying Down Hands, that group. We were part of that as the people were coming in. We were on the field, dancing, performing, singing, doing drumming for that. So yeah, I didn't meet Al Jarreau that day, but I met him later on
Okay.
when he was did a artist in resident for the Mann Music Center,
Wow.
and it was held at the Philadelphia Clef Club.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love that jazz
yeah,
club.
yeah.
I've only been to just maybe 2 or 3 performances there.
Right.
We both know Alfie Powell,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've seen
That
him.
guy.
He actually taught me how to sing,
Oh, okay.
so he's known me since I was a little bit. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to us sharing some more time and space together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mini-Me, it's just about time for us to go. And it was a pleasure.
Yes.
The two of you.
Tomorrow's Girls
You
and
know.
Women, that's where they come from,
Okay.
.org.
Yes.
Tomorrow's Girls.
Tomorrow's, and her name is again?
Pat McLean Smith.
Beautiful, beautiful
She's
pieces.
also the co-editor of this book, Philly Joined, with Deborah Powell Wright.
Very
And
good.
Misty Soul did the illustration for us.
So, say for example, I decide I want to have a program of my own,
Yeah.
and I would love to hire a percussionist, a poet, or just needing someone to just help me curate this program. And my preference is Karen L. Smith. How do I get in contact with you?
I think you already know how to get in contact
Absolutely,
with me. But for others
now,
who might not know
exactly.
how to get in contact,
Right.
you know, have drums will travel immediately at gmail.com. You know, that's my email address.
Right.
215-219-8769 is my direct number to get me, and you can find me on Instagram under Karen Smith Drums, or on Facebook under my name, which is Karen Smith. Have Drums Will Travel, Sisters Laying Down Hands, We's the People Collective. You know, there's a page for spiritual atmospheric cleansing. All that's me. You know, it's not hard to find me, or Google me.
And you being the lead director of the ensemble, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. I'm the lead director.
excellent. Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
I know you know on the move. Yep. Go Karen, go Karen, go Mini Me, go Mini Me.